You ever felt that? That quiet, almost secret sense of relief when your plans get canceled? It's this feeling a lot of us have, but we don't really talk about it. And it's not because you hate people or you're antisocial or anything like that. It's just you feel so much better when the world finally goes quiet.
So what does this love for being home really say about you? I mean, from the outside, maybe it looks like you're avoiding things or maybe even being lazy. But on the inside, it feels like your shoulders are finally dropping, like you're taking the first real deep breath you've had all day. Let's really get into what's happening under the surface here.
And yeah, this quote just hits the nail on the head. This whole thing isn't about being bored with life, not at all. It's about this deep, profound need for safety, for quiet. The real story starts when we start asking why. Why does that quiet feel so incredibly necessary? Because that feeling of relief, well, it's not just a passing mood. It's a really important signal, both physically and psychologically, that something much deeper is going on. And this idea right here completely reframes it. Home isn't a place where you go to disappear from the world. For so many of us, it's the one place where you can finally stop performing, stop reacting to everything, and just return to yourself, the real you, underneath all that noise.
Okay, so let's get into the real psychology of it. Because for a whole lot of people, this preference isn't some personality trait they picked out. Honestly, it's a choice their nervous system made for them, probably a long, long time ago.
And that brings us to something called nervous system regulation. After dealing with a ton of social pressure or emotional stress, your body is smart. It learns that home is the one reliable place where it can finally exhale. Think about it. The lights are the same, the sounds are predictable. This isn't just you seeking comfort. It's your body's intelligent way of finding its balance again.
And it is so important to get this distinction right. Introversion is all about energy. It's not about being afraid of people. Socializing can be great, but it drains an internal battery. Shyness, though, that's different. That's driven by a fear of being judged. So, for an introvert, home isn't an escape from fear. It's just a necessary pit stop to recharge that battery.
You know, for some people, it's not even about the social energy. It's about pure sensory input. In a loud, crowded place, their nervous system is just getting bombarded. It doesn't filter things out easily. Everything comes at them at full blast. So choosing to be home isn't about avoiding people. It's about avoiding an environment that just costs way too much energy to process.
Now, don't get me wrong, solitude is absolutely essential. It's where creativity happens, where you can actually hear yourself think. But, as this quote points out, there's a really delicate balance here. Solitude is a powerful tool, sure, but it's meant to be a doorway you pass through, not the final destination. And that, well, that's a really important turning point in this whole story.
So let's really unpack that. Because there's this very subtle, almost invisible line we can cross when the comfort of home starts to feel a little too safe, when rest starts turning into a full-blown retreat.
And here's the thing, it happens so quietly you barely notice it. At first, you cancel plans, and it just feels restorative. It feels good. But then, slowly, the outside world starts to feel a little distant. The same quiet that used to heal you now starts to feel like disconnection. And before you know it, without any big decision being made, your world has just shrunk.
So this is the absolute crux of it. The whole point of peace and solitude isn't to take you out of the game of life. It's supposed to refuel you so you can get back in the game. The moment it stops leading you back outward, it has quietly crossed a line into isolation.
And you know what makes this slide into isolation 1,000 times harder? It's not just being alone. It's that intense, suffocating cycle of shame that usually comes right along with it.
I mean, does that little voice in your head sound familiar at all? You look around, you see everyone else moving and doing things, and you start judging yourself against some imaginary scoreboard. That shame is quiet, but it's relentless, and it keeps whispering that this is all your fault, that it's some kind of personal failure.
But listen, I need you to hear this. This is not a character flaw, it's a protective pattern. At some point in your life, your system learned that pulling back was safer, that staying quiet conserved energy. It was a strategy that worked. And healing really begins the second you stop blaming yourself and just see the pattern for what it is.
So, what if you're listening to this and you recognize, yeah, my world has gotten smaller? How do you find your way back? Well, the answer isn't to just force yourself to get out there. The real path back is actually much gentler.
It's all about these small, gentle re-entries into life. A quiet walk, not a crazy party. One really good, honest conversation instead of 10 shallow ones. It's about reminding your nervous system that safety can exist outside your four walls too. You just have to introduce it in small, intentional doses.
And that right there is the key to making it last. Real, meaningful growth doesn't usually come from some big, intense overhaul of your life. It almost always feels subtle. It's the consistency, not the intensity, of these small movements that keeps your world from shrinking.
So we'll end on this question because it shifts the entire goal. This isn't about fixing something that's broken in you. It's about taking the person you already are, the one who loves quiet, who values depth, and asking, how can you gently create a little more room for that person to live? Not just inside your home, but out in the world too.